Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on our channel. So today I am alone, as you can see, because I wanted to make this video alone because I'm gonna film, as you see in the title, this is my birth story. I am 18 days postpartum, meaning 18 days since I gave birth. So I'm already starting to forget a lot. So I just had to get started so that I still have the information in my brain because it's not fresh anymore. If you guys didn't know, I had a C-section after my failed induction. So I did get induced first. August 12th, I was at the doctor, my OB, and we had already discussed the induction, but she'd already given me the deadline because my due date was originally August 18th. And she'd given me the deadline of August 18. If I didn't give birth naturally or didn't go into natural birth on my own, I had to get induced by August 18. So that was the plan because baby had been a little, her heartbeat has been a little like off. My water, I had a little too much water, amniotic fluid in with her, so that was a concern, as well as she was cord coiled, as we've seen on a previous ultrasound. So there was a bit of few different concerns, so that we didn't really want to go overboard. So my doctor gave me until August 18 to go into natural birth, or I could choose to go 1 week more, so 41 weeks, but I would have to go get an NST test every day, so that's very expensive and just unnecessary. So we were just ready to meet our baby anyway, so that's why. So the Saturday, August 12th, we went in for a schedule because we had discussed. We were just talking about just the cost of everything because my family history, my mom was induced with me and she'd ended up with an emergency C-section, and I know a lot of people that do get induced also end up in C-section. So I was kind of like, I just wanted to get it over done because I was prepared to have a C-section. But unfortunately, in the Philippines, you cannot have a planned C-section. You have to try at least. So what we agreed on is that we would get induced by August 15, which I did. That was Tuesday. So August 15, I will get induced. I will get to the hospital August 14 for check-in, and I will start taking the evening primrose that day 3 times, and then the morning after, that's the time I would receive my Pitocin. So that's what we agreed on, and then we would just monitor it closely and we wouldn't press it too much to get a C-section. We would give it about 8 hours, and then we would see how much dilated I am, and then we would discuss it, what would be the best. August 14, we went to the hospital about 3 p.m. We checked in, we got admitted into the emergency room first. They did their checks, they did the 4 evening primroses inserted. They just kept monitoring me throughout the night. They kept monitoring the baby. They checked the baby's heart rate every 2 hours. Yes, also in the night. And our doctor came about 11 p.m. to insert the last dose of the evening primrose and also check on me, check on baby, and just ask how we were doing, if we're ready. Also plan for the next day, tell us what was gonna happen, and we just like that. So it felt very safe, it felt very comfortable, it was not stressful or anything, so it was very good. August 15, 7 a.m. we were picked up, or the nurses came to get us. I got a wheelchair and we were rolled down to the delivery department. Mr. He had not taken the COVID test. I was given a COVID test the night before, but he was not there that time, so he had to take his that morning, and so I was rolled into the birth suite alone for about 2.5 hours. I was there alone. It was fine. The birthing suite was, we were supposed to take the birthing suite, but we were supposed to wait because it's you have to pay every hour and it's quite more expensive than the normally delivery room. But since I really wanted him to be a part of it, I didn't want the normal delivery room. I was also like talking about just having it in our room, which my doctor didn't want because we can monitor the baby that way. So we got a discount on the birthing suite, and we ended up paying 3,800 for 8 hours there. But that's another. We will have a hospital bill another time. But anyways, so yes, I got rolled to the birthing suite. I was met by my nurse and my midwife. Um, they were both amazing. I had the best birthing team. I could not be more happier with my birthing. Very happy for that. Very grateful. They were really nice. After a little bit of a while, the head nurse came also. She was kind of in the charge for me until my doctor came about 2-3 hours later. Um, so they just monitored the baby. I got my CGG, I guess, the one on your stomach to monitor the baby's heart rate and your contractions. So that morning, I had already had my own contractions about 6 to 7 minutes apart, but they were not regular. So I was already having my own contractions before I started the pitocin. I was started on the pitocin about 2 hours after I got to the birthing suite, so about 9 a.m. So I didn't feel anything in the beginning, but obviously it chopped up a little more. I was starting to have more regular contractions, and they got more intense, 100%, and yeah, they were more chopped up as they go. I also had an IV, and they would put that, a nurse took that in the morning. It was so awful. It was, I promise you, it was worse than the contractions. It was awful. She had taken it wrong, so it was in my skin, not in my vein. So she had, the head nurse, I was complaining so much about this one, that the nurse even said that I was complaining more about the IV than the actual contractions, which was true because it was so painful, you guys. But she ended up taking it out, and I had to take a new one in the other one. But I was dehydrated, so she had to stab me 3 times before she hit the right one, and it was really painful. I even got like that. I will insert a picture to just hold it because she was so scared it will rip out or something. Very stabbed on. I also had blood tests. Yeah, I was stabbed everywhere. Skin test, everything. So about 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, Mr. came, and then later that my doctor came also, and we monitored. That was really all. Like, we there was Netflix there, so I just watched Netflix, and I just enjoyed. Honestly, it wasn't anything stressful. I just took it as it came, but the baby's heart rate was dropping a bit when my contractions were getting more painful. It was her heartbeat go lower, which was concerning to the doctor, obviously, and the nurses. So I was told that I was about 50% chance of getting a C-section, but I already knew that from the beginning because my doctor already explained it to me previously. So about 2 p.m., she decided to do a cervical exam to check how dilated I was. That's where we get the problem, guys. So already that time, 2 p.m., I'd been having contractions, or I was been on pitocin for 5 hours, and I'd already had my own contractions that morning, but I was still only almost 1 centimeter. I wasn't fully 1 centimeter even. I was still hard, and my cervix or something like that was still profound. So it was still in the back. It wasn't open or soft. It was still hard, and like that hard to get for her. So that's the time we started to taking things serious. I was getting really scared. My doctor said to me, we will do another cervical exams in 2 hours, and if you haven't dilated that time, we need to do a C-section. So that time was the time where I was really getting, okay, this is serious. This is okay. This is serious. And I was literally, after that, I wanted to start moving. I wanted to start trying to get this baby out. I wanted to try to open my cervix naturally on my own. So I wanted to go walk, but I was so nervous and I was so stressed out. Like, I was literally having the shakes. I was looking like I was really high on something. But yeah, I was shaking like, I don't even know, 20 minutes straight. I could not move. I was just, my whole body was shaking. Like, yeah, I was really, really, really nervous. But I tried. I walked around. I did the birthing ball. We did different things, and then I was so tired because I'd only slept 2 hours that night. So I decided to sleep. So I slept about 1 hour, and then I was woken up by my doctor to do the cervical exams. That time, our pediatrician also had come. My doctor then did the cervical exams, and she was like, "Yeah, there's no no progress here." And she asked them if it was okay that she would schedule me for a C-section, and we just, I didn't even say yes. I was just like, okay. I was not happy. I was prepared for it. Obviously, I was prepared for it because my doctor already said to me it was a very big chance for it, but I was not prepared. Kind of, you don't really get prepared to hear that message like you need to have a C-section. Like, it's not good. That time, me and Mr. We were just trying to, I don't know, just take the last time together alone. We just talking about this. I was really nervous. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I was just trying to breathe. He couldn't come with me either, so I was really nervous for that. And I was really nervous they would take my baby and I would have to be alone. Like, oh, still a little traumatizing to me, honestly. Still, yeah, I still have unprogressed feelings about my birth. If it wasn't for my birth team, I would be really traumatized, I think. After a little while, they did skin tests and things like that just to test that I didn't react on the antibiotics and things like that. I did not, so I was rolled into the OR. Had to say bye to Mr. Very sad, but I'd already turned my brain off because I was just like, I cannot deal with this if I have my feelings on. So I just shut my feelings off because I knew I would cry. I would cry if my feelings were on because I was so scared. I was really scared. I was prepared, but I still didn't feel so prepared to because I was gonna have my baby, you know, and I had to be alone. I was really, really scared. At least I had my doctor there that I trusted. In the OR, they put me over to the bed and they put me like in a cross position, my arms out like this. And then I meet the anesthesiologist and she just tell me what is gonna happen. She tell me she's gonna put a spinal in my back, and that's what she did. Another nurse, he had my legs like up to his like nah. He pushed on my legs so my legs would be here. And guys, my stomach was big. I was big pregnant, so having your legs pushed on your stomach is not that comfortable. And my head was like that also, so that she could get the needle in the right, like that. After that, they put the my my hospital gown. They put it up like that, and then they put something over that also. So I was 100% sure I was naked up there. Everyone can see me naked there. Because they just put my whole hospital gown, like from here. There was only my chest, my shoulders showing. Like, I was sure I was naked. Well, that was uncomfortable, but honestly, I didn't care. I was so scared, I didn't even care. So they put me like this, and my gown like that. And the anesthesiologist, she did things on my chest, just asking if I was sharp or soft, and I guess I failed that because that's when they started the operation. And I had my anesthesiologist over my head all the time, just making sure I was okay. She was great. She made me feel comforted. After a while, I heard the cries. It felt so quick. It was literally from I went into the room, I felt like it was, I don't even know, 3 minutes or something, but it turns out it had been already 40 minutes or something. It was so quick. And I heard the cries, and I was like, I wasn't really present. I think I was really high on the medications. I was, yeah. And then suddenly, the anesthesiologist told me your baby's born. She's okay. Um, like that, I heard her crying. I don't know. I was confused. There was a lot of things happening. It was too much to me to handle. But they put her to my head like this, and I got to kiss her. But unfortunately, they only had her with me for 5 seconds, which was very disappointing to me because I really wanted to be able to do skin to skin as fast as she was born, and I wanted to do immediate breastfeeding, and I wanted to do a lot of these things, but I didn't get the chance to do anything because she was cord coiled. She had her umbilical cord wrapped 2 times around her neck and also once around her chest. That's why her heartbeat dropped and she wasn't able to go down in my cervix because she was cord coiled. So thankfully it was a C-section. Thankfully my doctor also told me it was good that we didn't push the induction further because it wouldn't end well. So she had to go immediately to the NICU. I didn't get to see her or anything that day. He got to see her in a viewing window. She was receiving oxygen the first day. After my surgery, they stitched me up with stitches, and I had a blood loss. Also, I was receiving, I think, 800 milliliters of blood after my surgery. Uh, my my doctor told me that they wouldn't give me blood if I was normal levels before the surgery, but I was already anemic before my surgery, and me losing blood was not safe. So that's why they did the transfusion. They already prepared the blood um, beforehand because they knew in case I lose a lot of blood, they need to transfer because of the anemic. Oh, also the surgery, the craziest thing, you feel like I got the catheter, everyone get the catheter, but when you receive it, like I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel them moving my legs, nothing. I did feel the catheter going in. It just felt like a bit uncomfortable. I felt it where it was. I felt they were doing something under there, down there. It was like pinching or something. It was uncomfortable. Well, it didn't hurt, but it was uncomfortable. And I did feel a lot of pressure in the surgery. I felt when the anesthesia went like that, it felt like it was like kind of when your foot or arm is asleep. It was like those kind of like small like balls. It felt like it was going down my feet, and boom, I didn't feel anything. And I could even see them moving my legs like open like that for the catheter, but I couldn't feel that they did it. It was scary. So after surgery, I was transferred to the recovery room for 2 hours. There, I was just trying to get a little bit control of my body again. I tried to move my toes. That was all I could do. I could lift anything, I could move anything, nothing like that. So, but I could start to move my toes. After 2 hours, I was transferred back. That's when I saw him again. Yeah, I was quite high. I didn't feel anything, nothing pain. I was just laying there, but I had to lay straight the whole night, so it wasn't much sleep for me because I don't lie on my back normally. I hate it, so I didn't get much sleep. All I was worried about was my baby. I wanted my baby. I hadn't seen her. I just wanted to know where she was okay. My doctor come check up on me later that night. All I wanted was my baby. I wanted my baby. I was so scared she didn't get food. I had given colostrum, but I wanted to feed her so that I was so scared my breastfeeding would go bad because of that. Luckily, it didn't. Next day, she had already used up all the colostrum I had brought. I'd only prepared 100 milliliters, so she was eating a lot. She'd finished a lot, so the NICU wanted to start giving her formula, uh, which I was very against. I didn't want her to be on formula. I really didn't want that, so we agreed that I will go down to breastfeed her, um, which I didn't really think the consequence of, because I just thought they would take me in the bed, and then she would just be given to me in the bed, and I would just be feed her there, and that was fine. But no, that was my first time I had to stand up because they would take me down in a wheelchair, and that was not well planned. They took down 8 I am to feed her first time. Yeah, that was not great. That was the first time I stand. I was shaking so much. It took a while because I was, yeah, shaking a lot. Um, it hurts so bad standing up the first time. My diaper was also full because no one had changed it, and I was obviously not mobile, so the blood was literally leaking off me. Uh, and my catheter was there, and my IV. And yeah, it was not a great look for those who saw that. So that first walk was horrible because I had to get off the bed and then inside the wheelchair, and then the man, he took the wheelchair down to me, no, down to the nursery or the NICU to breastfeed her, and he could only go outside of the room, so I had to walk inside and then sit down and then the whole thing again. I did that 3 times. So I definitely think that did something on my recovery. It took me longer to heal because it gave me more pain because I was straining myself a lot more than I should. She was also very heavy. She was born 3,975 grams, so 3.9 kilos, and 56 centimeters at 5:25 p.m. August 15th. So she was a heavy baby. She was a big baby, and there was no support in that breastfeeding chair in the NICU, none. So that was very painful. I was pushing and straining my incision a lot. The nurse helped me because she was feeding a lot also. Luckily, I had a lot. I already had milk because she was eating a lot. Luckily, I had milk enough to feed her, so that wasn't a problem. But she feed a long time. That was painful. The nurse had to hold her like in her butt, and I just hold her head because I couldn't hold the whole of her because she was too heavy. Um, yeah. So, but it was fine. I went down there first to 8, and then 11, and then 2, and then I was supposed to go back 5, but I fell asleep and no one came, and then she was gotten to us at 8. More than 24 hours after she was born. That's the only time, first time we transfer her. Anyway, I'm jumping out and like, okay. So I think the last time I went down to breastfeed her, the nurse left me with her alone for I think 40 minutes or something. It felt like an eternity. I loved it in the beginning, but it was really hard because I had to carry her, and it was super painful. My back was so sore, and it was so painful in my session, and there were no call button or anything. I couldn't call the nurses to come help me. Nothing. I was in so much pain after that. But yeah, so I just had to end up laying her on my legs because I couldn't handle her weight. That was not great. But she was a good baby. She's still a good baby. Like, she don't cry. So thankfully it was good. And unfortunately, the doctor also came in um, and told us that the baby had infection. She was born with an infection, and that she's transferred from me. We don't know where she got it. We think it's just outside. I just didn't. It didn't make me sick, but it made the baby sick. I do have a kind of like suspicion on that it might be when I was infected by the parasites when I was 6 weeks pregnant, but I'm not sure because that's a while ago. But that's what I think it's from. Because I think she had sepsis. That's what the infection was. So she had to be on antibiotics for 7 days. So the doctor wanted her to stay in the NICU for 7 days. I was not. I did not want that. I was not happy with that decision. So what we said or what I decided, which the doctor wasn't happy about, was that either she could be with us in the room for 7 days and we would just stay in the hospital with her, or we take her home and we would just take her back. Yeah, even my doctor didn't think that was a good idea. So my doctor also helped us with our pediatrician to make like that arrangement that was best for us, that we would stay in the hospital with her under her antibiotics. So that's what we did. She was luckily responding to the antibiotics, and she's now well, thankfully, which was also a blessing for me because it did take me a while to recover. So this now I will start my recovery journey. So, as I said, my first day after my C-section was quite hard because I used all my strength to feed her, and I was definitely affected. That time they also took out my catheter. The catheter was kind of painful, so I was happy they would take it out. But once they take it out, I wanted it back because literally the worst thing about my day every single day was, and the thing I was dreading every single day was going to pee, because it was so painful, like super, super, super painful. I had to get help. I could not, there was no way I could do it myself. And it was super painful. I felt like I was gonna collapse, like I was gonna faint. I could not breathe. It was so painful. I was screaming in pain, and every time I was back in the bed after, I was screaming after the nurse to get me painkillers, to up my IV painkiller. That was the best one. That was the one relief. The first, that was the one I wanted. It was horrible, not great. But I got a lot of help. We also got a lot of help with the baby. I only fed her. I wasn't able to walk until my day 5 in the night. But I was screaming for painkillers until day 3. That's why I was a little late discharged. My doctor wanted to discharge me my second day, but I was still screaming for painkillers that day, or the IV, and they couldn't discharge me if I still had the IV in. So that's why she said just discharge tomorrow if you're better, just so that you can still receive IV. But I didn't get any more that day. I just got one, and we were discharged the next day. But we're still obviously in the hospital because of ED. I don't know. It was quite hard. Like the pain is just, the best way I could describe the pain was just like a constant knife that's just like stabbing you inside an already wound. It was so sore and super, super, super painful. I don't even like that. I was prepared for a C-section to be painful. Of course, everyone kind of knows that it's going to be painful, but I was not prepared for it to be so painful. And I definitely felt very like defeated. Also, seeing a lot of people saying like, "Oh, they were fine just the next day. They were able to walk a lot." But I was not able to walk to the toilet. That was just like not that far. Day 5 was the first time I was able to hold my baby properly. And then morning day 6, I was very fully capable. I was at that time I took my first shower, which we can be quiet about. Yes, it's not great, but I wasn't able to shower before that, unfortunately, because I was scared I was gonna fall in the shower and faint, because I was, every time I stood up I felt like blood going to my brain and I was not able to breathe. The last thing I was able to handle was a shower when I couldn't even handle to pee. So day 6 I was able to shower finally. That felt great. It was quite scary and it took my energy, but I did it, and I was able to hold the baby more, and I was able to walk more. I tried more like walking in the room and just doing things like that, and I was able to sit up on the bed alone. I was able to get things alone and just a lot more like that. And day 7 I was practically well functioning. Still recovering, but I was able to do a lot more on my own. I was left alone with the baby and I was fine. So it took me about 6 days, I would say, to recover. Well, obviously, I'm still recovering. I'm only 18 days left postpartum. So update for now. 18 days after my wound is healing. I already cut the stitch off. There's still stitches, but the end of the stitch my doctor cut off already. Still sore a little, but I'm very well functioning. I'm able to do anything. Honestly, I just have to be careful, not press it, push it too much. But we walk out, like we go out, we walk a lot. Like, yeah, it's okay. I just take it a little calm. Of course, I get tired and it's painful if I do too much, but that's covering, and I am still bleeding. So the first 4 days, literally, I felt like my stomach was gonna fall out of me. It was so uncomfortable. I cannot walk. I had to. It was horrible. But that binder at least gave me some support, and I was also able to push on it to push the incision when I was sitting down or standing up, uh, or anything like that, and it helped a lot. So yeah, she's not happy. She just woke up. This is our baby. Huh? She held the microphone also. But she's not happy. She's hungry. But yes. So, ooh. If someone is wondering her name is Olia, or in Norwegian it's called Olea. So it's a name we chose because it fits both in English and Norwegian, and then also Filipino. So it's a triple language name. And as you see, she's quite big now. She's 4.2 kilo already, so she's grown a lot. And she's 57 centimeters, so she's a tall girl. Luckily, she get her size from me and not her father. So I'm gonna feed her now. And then, oh, she got a lot of hair, and she's interacting a lot more now. She keeps eye contact. She can be smiling to us, and she makes a lot more sounds. She makes sounds when she feeds. She makes sounds in general, just talking to us, and she's developing great. So yes. Okay, guys, I just have to end the video now because yeah, someone here is hungry. We hope that you can come back for another video. And if you are interested in this content, then please subscribe or other type of content. And yes, we're coming back with videos quite regularly now, so hope you'll enjoy. Bye bye, guys.